I'm Jaime with bookkeepers.com, and this channel exists to help you inspire you, encourage you, and grow your bookkeeping practice. Today, I have the honor of having Veronica Wasek here with me. Thank you so much for joining me, Veronica.
I'm so excited to be here, Jaime, and I'm just really excited to talk with you, sit down and relax because we don't get a chance to do that.
We never do. So, a few things that we're going to talk about today. I want to get to know you as a person. I want to know a little bit about your background. I'm going to ask you some tough questions. And also, there's something that I fundamentally disagree with you on.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I want to talk about that. So, Veronica, before we get into it, I just wanted to tell you that you're one of the educators in our space that I truly admire because I think that you really have a heart for students, and for whatever my endorsement means, it means very little. I feel like you're one of the few educators that I've seen in our industry that really has a heart for students and helping them grow and scale their whether it's bookkeeping or just kind of in the accounting industry. When I got into the industry as a bookkeeper, it was one of those things that I realized very quickly how bad the industry is, and not from the education standpoint, but from the bookkeeper standpoint. And then when I got into bookkeeper launch, I realized how much of a potential there is for somebody to grow and have a successful business. But not only that, but really change lives as an educator. And as a bookkeeper, you have the opportunity to change lives for all of those small businesses as well. So I wanted to start with that. But also, Veronica, talk to us a little bit about your background. I know that you're an educator now, but you had a bookkeeping practice.
I did for 15 years. And
Hey,
then prior to that, I was an accountant in public accounting and for corporations. And during 2010, because of the recession, I lost actually jobs back to back. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do? Because I don't think I can get a job anymore with the way the economy was. And I thought, well, I'll start my own firm.
that's exciting and scary.
Yes, yeah, because I had no idea. Really, I didn't even know how to market myself. I didn't know anything other than I thought I'm very good with the accounting piece and the
Yeah.
workflows. I'm not very good with marketing, totally scared of selling, but I can learn.
Yes. So you're in the education space now, and I know recently you have completely you sold your bookkeeping practice. Is that correct?
I did as of December of 2024.
Awesome. That is amazing. So now that you're in the education space, you're teaching, inspiring bookkeepers. But before then, who taught you? How did you get to working as an accountant, as a public accountant, to saying, "Hey, I'm going to start my own firm"? Did you have a mentor, an educator that other bookkeepers may look at you like?
That's a great question. And really the level of education and even the content that we have now, we didn't have any of that because we didn't have Facebook. I mean, there might have been a Facebook, but people weren't on it, and certainly not on it for business. YouTube, all of the social media either didn't exist or it was in the beginning stages. And but we had the internet, okay.
Yeah.
And when I started my business, as I said, I really didn't know how to market myself. I am a CPA, and I thought, but I don't do the tax portion. I don't want to. How do I tell myself? How do I tell others what I'm doing? How I can help them? And I started realizing that the people in my circles, in the networking circles, kept asking, "Can you help me with my QuickBooks?" And I'm thinking, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then I realized that QuickBooks was really the gateway and really the foundation for branding myself as a QuickBooks expert.
Yeah.
But I had to learn it all myself, other than the training provided by Intuit. And we really had, as I call them, the OGs
Yeah.
and the goats back then, Michelle Long
Yeah.
and B. Raimondi and others, that they really knew how to use QuickBooks inside and out. They knew how to fix it. And so I learned all of that from them.
That's amazing. And I think that just goes to show that no matter what stage you are, there is always going to be somebody that can teach you something. So you're already a CPA. You could have said, "Hey, I have my credentials. I can do this." Some would say that you're overqualified for it, but yet you sought help from others and learn from others as well. So you're full time in the education space. So talk to us about your business. I know you recently went through a rebrand. Talk about that shortly, but tell us about what you do as an educator now in this space.
Sure. So, I've always wanted to put out content, whether it's free or paid content. So the free content that I do, you can generally find it on YouTube. I That's another thing that I didn't know how to do videos, and but I learned and really found a passion for educating bookkeepers, especially. First, there was I'm going to educate small business owners, and then kind of develop this following of bookkeepers. And at first, I thought, no, I'm not talking to you. Okay, talking to business owners. But then I realized that bookkeepers are there was a need, obviously, and then that they are much more engaged, wanted to learn. I think business owners, that you kind of had to convince them that they needed to learn, whereas bookkeepers were ready to get that information. So I started primarily in the beginning putting everything out on YouTube. But then what happened was I started a Facebook group, in which, I was scared. I thought nobody's gonna join. Maybe if 20 people join, I'll be happy. But people joined it, and people started asking, "Can you teach us?
Oh, wow.
Can you teach us?" Because I would talk about diagnostic reviews. I would talk about monthly bookkeeping workflows. I think I was talking too much about cleanup then. So the members of the group started asking for, can you teach us? Can you put out a course? And so then I did a survey, and they said, how about virtual bookkeeping workflows? So that was the first course that I launched through 5MB Academy. The Virtual Bookkeepers Roadmap is what it initially was called. And then the students asked, well, can you teach us your diagnostic review?
Oh, that's
so. Okay, yeah, I can do that. So year one course, year two, diagnostic. And then they said, can you teach us your cleanup systems? And I thought, okay, that's going to be difficult because cleanup is not easy to teach.
There's so many different factors. One
Yeah.
cleanup is so different from the next.
Yeah, so it's not something that you can just go through and do ABC, because like you said, it's just different for every client. And I fought it a lot. I thought, no, I'm never going to teach cleanup. Nope. But then the pandemic happened, and I had time to be home. And I thought, oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to publish this course, which I did. And the rest is history, really.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know where you started, because now when I hear Veronica Wasek, or I think Veronica Wasek's course, I think cleanup and I think diagnostic reviews. And I assume that's what most people go to you for now.
Yes, and I even had to make a choice, I think, a decision last year. What do I want to be known for? Because God has given me a lot of gifts, a lot of talents. And it's so I can teach marketing, I could teach sales, I could teach this, I could teach that. And initially, I even thought 5MB Academy is going to be this place where you can go, there might be 50 courses.
Sure.
But what I realized, as people change, as their ability to consume content has changed, that I don't need 50 courses.
Right.
And so then I had to ask myself, what do I want to be known for? And I thought, well, I did not invent the diagnostic review, but I feel like I have mainstreamed it in the industry. And so I thought that's what I want to be known for. And then, of course, cleanup kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah. That is awesome. So you said you had your practice for 15 years.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen the industry shift in so many different ways, to going from desktop to online, and now there's AI components to QuickBooks, and there's other AI ledgers. where do you see this industry, or what makes this like this next shift in the industry different from others?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been thinking about this shift, and I mean, it's definitely a big shift. And I feel like, as I said back in 2010 when I started my business, with the recession, there was a big shift in how companies were doing business, and I feel like it was such a pivotal moment for me to then step into the marketplace at that point and say I need to do things differently because whatever people are doing now is not working.
Yeah.
So now's the opportunity to do something different. And I think that we're in that same sort of shift,
Right.
that I think there are a lot of opportunities to embrace the technology, to reposition ourselves, I think, to change the relationship that we have with our clients, and really even go beyond bookkeeping, or lead with advisory, for example. And bookkeeping is part of what we do because we can't do advisory without the bookkeeping. But I think it's that opportunity to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, I get that. So let's talk about your rebrand. There's two things I want to talk about in your business. You recently announced a rebrand of your a 5-minute bookkeeping. And then recently, a little bit further back, I think it was about a month ago or so, you made a post on Facebook too that I felt everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. You switched to Xero.
Yes.
And there was some confusion. I got it right away what you were saying. Your actual practice was the books were being held in Xero now, right? So number one, talk to us about why you made the change, which by the way, ours are kept in Xero too.
Oh.
And two, talk to us about the rebrand, why you did it, and where you see your brand moving forward.
I think it's part of the shift that we are undergoing, that we need to look at other options. Several years ago, if you would have, cut me open, I would have led QuickBooks Green.
Yes.
And I've had a wonderful relationship with Intuit Corporation, and they have given me a lot of opportunities. But I think everyone can agree that the product is not the same and the relationship is not the same. And so then I think that we need to start looking at other options. Maybe it's going to be a similar experience. I don't know, but I think that someone had to start that journey to let others know that it's okay to do it. And ultimately, like, I'm not working on my books. It's my accounting firm that's doing that. And even they said, yeah, we're going to add Xero. And I said, please move me to Xero.
That's awesome. So we'll talk about the rebrand in a second, because I want to get into this. And this is something you and I just talked about this off camera, and I'll bring it to camera now here live. You do a lot of teaching in QuickBooks, but you keep your books in Xero. I'll use me as an example. We use Xero too. We have always used Xero for our own books, but we teach in QuickBooks. So at surface level, I look hypocritical teaching this. Why do you teach in QuickBooks but use Xero for your own books?
I mean, we all know the reality that Intuit owns a large portion of the market. And so then we have to bring content and education to the masses in a way that they can find clients, they can understand accounting workflows, because it'll be very similar if you go from one general ledger system to another. And so I think it makes sense to do that. I don't personally plan to add any training on Xero, just because, and like I said, we'll talk about my rebranding and more the direction that I'm going in. But I think probably other educators in our industry need to do that, or Digits or Puzzle or other accounting platforms.
Yeah, and I have to just echo what you said. Same thing for us. We teach in QuickBooks because it's the most popular one. I think we'd be doing a disservice to our students to teach in a platform that is not the most popular one at the moment. If the industry shifts so much that QuickBooks is no longer the big bad beast that it is, then maybe we would consider that. But right now, it is the most popular.
Yeah, and I think too for bookkeepers.com that you're training people on how to become bookkeepers. So once they get that training, once they know the software, then they can apply all of that knowledge to another
Yep.
accounting class.
It makes it a lot easier. If you really understand the foundations of accounting, moving from one software to another, there's a learning curve, but it's not as bad as as scary as it may seem.
Yeah, and I think too that ultimately for the bookkeeping profession, that it's not about knowing where to click, like
Yeah.
go here and do X, Y, Z. It's about understanding the workflows,
Right.
and then you can transfer that knowledge to really any other system.
Exactly. Yeah. So talk to us about your rebrand. That was a big deal. You had a countdown going. I was every day. I was like, let's go see. Let's see if it's a day closer. And you would post, 3 days, 2 days left, 1 day left. And then the day of, I kid you not, I went to Facebook and I was like, let's see if she's posted.
Yes, I even posted it 1 hour earlier than usual just because I was so excited.
I was on the edge of my seat and I'm like, where is it? Where's the announcement? So tell us about that.
Yeah, so for 10 years, I've had a brand called 5 Minute Bookkeeping, and really it was my baby.
Yeah.
And it started actually with the thought of, can a business owner do their bookkeeping in just 5 minutes a day? Like if they can just spend 5 minutes a day, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And they could probably do their bookkeeping in 5 minutes a day. Then it sort of evolved into, I can explain something to you that's something complex in 5 minutes or less. And actually all of my training is, especially my courses, everything's 5 minutes or less.
Oh, that's awesome.
And but as time progressed, it started to feel a little outdated. 5 minutes is a lot of time now for some
Yeah.
people, especially in social media, to ask someone to watch a 5 minute video. You have to really, I think they feel like they have to really be getting a lot of value. And while the content is valuable, I felt like the term was outgrowing.
Sure.
Just in general was becoming a little stale. And I also wanted to elevate my content and my offerings beyond bookkeeping.
Okay.
Still working with bookkeepers, but not necessarily be known for the person that's going to tell you how to do X, Y, Z in QuickBooks.
Okay. I love it. So, Veronica, let's take some time to ask you some tough questions here. These are live money questions, only because I couldn't come up with a better name for it.
Okay.
We might change the name of that later, but you have like just a couple seconds to answer these, and then after this, we're going to debate. We're not really going to debate, but
I'm ready. Bring it on.
We'll talk about what I meant earlier about the different fundamentals that we believe. But so we'll start here. If you had to choose, you can only do cleanups for the rest of your life, or have monthly clients but no cleanups ever. Which one would you choose?
Because I like a challenge, I'm going to say cleanups.
Cleanups, okay. Charging an hourly rate or a flat rate?
Flat rate.
Do you want a new client with messy books but great communication, or a new client with clean books but they're very difficult to get a hold of?
New client with messy books and good communication.
That tracks with the cleanup answer as well. Now, if AI didn't exist and you could only use QuickBooks bank rules, or not bank rules, but the QuickBooks suggestions, and then now QuickBooks has an AI version of that, which of the two would you choose?
I'm going to say if it were just AI and it was trained properly, that I'd probably choose the AI.
Awesome. And then if you could only do one of the two things, you could meet with potential new clients and have discovery calls with them all day or every day, or you can only meet with them. You can only meet with them to discuss their financial statements. Which of the two would you have?
Discovery call.
Awesome. So let's just kind of walk through those, and then we'll talk about why you answered each one. So cleanup project versus monthly client. The monthly client work, you said cleanup, and you said because you like a challenge.
I like a challenge.
Is there like a puzzle aspect of that you like solving?
Yes. I think it's just because of all the workflows and the processes, and for me to then take something that is a complete mess and be able to make sense of it and feel like I've saved the client. I
Yeah.
think there's a savior aspect there probably
Yeah.
that I enjoy that. If I had to do the work myself,
Sure. Sure.
I enjoy that.
And then I'll skip the next to the third question because it goes right hand to hand with that one. You picked a new client with messy books, great communication, instead of somebody that comes in with a clean set of books, but they're very difficult to get a hold of. I think I would choose the same one as you did here. A new client with messy books but great communication. Why would you choose that
I
one?
think any client with a great communication is a gem, and you need to keep them.
They're difficult to find. They're very difficult to find.
Yes,
So
they're rare, and again, most of the time we have the other.
yes, yes. And it's like the bookkeeper almost cares more about the books than the actual business owner.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. It's difficult to work with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Charging an hourly rate or a flat rate? You said flat rate.
Yes.
Have you always been on the flat rate team?
The bulk of the 15 years that I had my business, yes.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but over the last 5 years, maybe even more, it's gotten very normalized
Yes.
to go that route. When I first got into the industry 8 years ago, it was we almost had to convince people that we were not charging hourly, charging flat rate, and now it's pretty common to see that. Most business owners are not even questioning that. I don't know if you've seen the same thing.
I have, and it's interesting. The reason that I wanted to do upfront pricing for clients was because, as I said, I started my business in the middle of a recession, and I thought, well, what would I want? For someone just to tell me this is how much it'll cost, and then to know that, okay, I can afford them, and that's a reasonable price. We can work together. Or someone who's coming to me and just saying, I'll charge you by the hour, and I have no clue what they're
Yeah.
going to charge. And so it was an easy sell for me. And as I said, because of that shift in the industry then, that it worked. I think that they wanted that peace of mind to know that, okay, it'll cost X. And honestly, some people were willing to pay me more money, but if I gave them an upfront price versus what I might have charged hourly, they always pay the higher price.
Right. It's predictable.
Yeah.
It's predictable for them, predictable for you. It's just easy.
And they're paying for peace of mind in a sense.
Right, right. I think of, to use an example that bookkeepers are very familiar with is Anchor from their proposal software. Sometimes Anchor is not the least expensive merchant service option when you're sending proposals to clients, but it's the easiest one. They charge a flat $5. And for me as a bookkeeper, I can see why, I just tell me how much it is versus a merchant fee that's a percentage that I'm having to figure out. Even if as easy as the equation may be, it's still something, it's not easy. I want something super easy.
Yeah.
Dude,
$5.
Yep, exactly. $5, 5-minute
Yeah.
bookkeeping. It's something that's it's easy to remember, right? And there's no surprises. So you said between those bank suggestions that QuickBooks has, that they used to have, versus the ones that they have now that are kind of powered by AI, you said AI as long as it's taught.
Properly trained.
Yes.
And my answer was more of general AI, not necessarily the QuickBooks AI, because I think they still have a little ways to go on it.
Yeah.
But I think an AI that is properly trained for that business, that I would rather go that route and then have a workflow for reviewing after the fact.
Awesome. And then the last one, meet with potential clients to doing those discovery calls all day, or only do those, versus having the monthly financial chat with your clients. And I already forgot, but I think you said the discovery calls, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's just because I was always much more comfortable in that role, and then getting to know a client and asking them questions, figuring out how my team and I could help them. I've always been a lot more comfortable in an advisory role, but more on the technology side than sitting down with a client to go over their financials. And I feel like, at least for the time that I was running my firm, that we didn't really have a lot of training, or great resources for how do you really do that? And so I never felt fully confident in,
Mm,
and that was before Chat GPT. I'd probably run it by Chat GPT now and be like, I've got this.
yeah.
But it was just an area that I didn't feel very comfortable doing. And then it was difficult to engage with clients. I mean, I did at some point try to, roll out this advisory services package, and clients signed up for it, but then they weren't making their appointments to meet with me, or I'd give advice, but they didn't do anything about it. And so I just felt like I can help in these other areas, and really, when we're talking about advisory,
Hmm.
there's so many other areas in which you can still advise
Sure.
clients.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the discovery call is always fun. I think that's the fun part of meeting with the client, getting to know them. I agree with you on that.
Doing something new,
Yeah,
meeting someone.
exactly. All right. So, Veronica, we consistently get questions in our bookkeeper launch community. We have a ton of students in there, and we do coaching calls every day. And every once in a while, we get a question that says, "Hey, in your course at bookkeepers or at bookkeeper launch, you don't talk about paid diagnostic reviews. I've read or I've seen that Veronica really pushes it," and I tell them, "Quit listening to Veronica." No, I don't say that. And so I do get the philosophy, but uh, I've never charged for it in my bookkeeping practice that I still have. But it seems like I've always I didn't even know. Did people call you the pay diagnostic queen? Because I was just like, that's pay diagnostic queen. That's Veronica.
Yeah, I think now, because as I said before, I had to make a choice of what do I want to be known for.
Yeah,
And so I made that choice actually probably a year and a half ago.
that's
And
cool.
so then I think I've been putting out enough content about diagnostic
Yeah,
reviews to then formally put the crown on.
sure, sure. So I kind of have heard from students what the philosophy behind it, but you tell me why paid and not give that free value to the client and close them by providing that value.
Um, that's a great question. And I think it's a two-part answer. One is to really solidify the positioning that you should then have in place already. So your positioning, part of your marketing, um, of being the expert who can
Mm,
help the client, find all the issues with their books, and then get them to a place where all of that is taken care of. So by charging for it, then it supports the positioning of I'm the expert who can help you.
yeah,
Having said that, perhaps you need a niche to further, solidify that positioning, and maybe newer bookkeepers are not, yet confident, or are not specialized enough to be at that
sure.
point, that level. And then the second part of the answer is that I turned the diagnostic review into a selling tool,
Sure.
essentially. And so it's a way to then qualify the client, and to really not spend all of this time like I'm going to do all this for free, to then give you, and in my case, in my system, you give them a report of findings and recommendations. So they get a written report, and you meet with them to go over it with them. So to me, there's value in just that.
Sure.
And so, but it is part of the selling process of qualifying the prospective client. Of, are they willing and able to pay you? Do they value the fact that you are now bringing a solution to them? Do they allow you to control the process? Because by, if you're doing the diagnostic, bringing the client your findings and bringing a recommended solution,
Yeah.
you're the expert, consultant, accountant,
Yeah.
bookkeeper, hero, and then the client has to let you control the process.
Gotcha. And I will say, so like I've never charged for it myself. And when I've gotten that question from students, they tell me about everything that they give the client in the paid diagnostic review. And I say, okay, yeah, I don't do all that. So like, so I see why when you're doing that, you have to really provide incredible value where,
You do. And actually, even because some students will ask, well, how long does it take? Because then what I charge has to be equivalent to how long it takes. I said, no, you just come up with a fee. Like, and typically I say, okay, start at $500, or if,
Mhm.
if you're maybe very new, maybe 300, but you need to charge something.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter. It's a big company, small company. It's just the fact that you're charging for it. And it's then how long it takes you is irrelevant, because again, as I said, it's part of this um, a sales process that at the end of, okay, we met, I've shown you the report of findings, I've shown you, I go into QuickBooks and show you exactly, oh, here it is, and it's 100 transactions dating back to a year and a half. It's, I mean, like, we're really rubbing the salt in the
Mhm.
on the wound.
Sure.
essentially. And so, and so then you recommend services.
Mhm.
And if you have qualified the client, which hopefully by then you have, then that client will sign up for additional services.
Yeah. And so, what do you tell a student? And I'm sure you've heard this before, that says, "I'm afraid to charge for my diagnostic review because what if I lose that client?"
Well, I mean, we've all been there.
Mhm.
Number one, afraid to charge for something because you might not get the client. But I think it's one of those things that you have to get past.
Yeah.
Because I've had students who have said, like, I've been doing free diagnostics for years.
Yeah.
And then I told the client, okay, decided I'm going to tell them, okay, it's going to be, let's say, $500 for the diagnostic. And then I, did the diagnostic. And then I told them it's going to be $10,000 for the cleanup. And they just said, okay, let's get started. And they would have never charged that much for a cleanup. And they
Right.
never would have charged for a diagnostic. So I think it's just, again, it's we're qualifying the right clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't, I mean, and again, I know I have been there. So I said, I started a business in the middle of a recession, trying to just replace my salary from
Sure.
the previous jobs. And so fear plays a factor in that. But we can't, what I learned was that we project a lot of our fears and insecurities onto our clients.
Yeah.
So then we
Wow.
think that, oh, well, they're never going to pay me for this and they're never going to
Yeah.
pay me for that. And I'm the first one to say, look, I like a bargain, or give me a discount. I'm really happy. But my ideal client, maybe they don't want to bargain and maybe they don't want the discount.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want it to be taken care of
Yep.
because they want that peace of mind.
Right. Right.
And so that's who I focused as far as my ideal client was, a very direct, very decisive business owner,
Hmm.
and who just says, okay, great, let's move forward, take care of it.
Gotcha. So I'll concede and say that you won the debate because
Of course I did.
I do feel like the way that you just put it, you're qualifying those clients, and that client that paid for your diagnostic review and is now your monthly client, I would, or let me, I guess, take a step back. I would love to see some kind of survey that showed people that charge for a paid diagnostic review and their success with clients and how much they enjoy working with them versus those that didn't. I would say there's probably the overwhelmingly majority that are charging for a diagnostic review have better clients.
I would think so. And I think it really starts the relationship in a place where the bookkeeper has established themselves as the expert in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of clients who will come to a bookkeeper and just say, well, I just need to reconcile it. It's just going to take a couple
what
of
they always say.
hours and do this and the chart of accounts. They don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay, no, that's probably going to take 4 hours. And then you take on the client and you had no idea the
What kind of
extent of it.
mess.
And now you're coming from a reactive place because you might be charging by the hour. Now it's going to be a lot longer, not what the client expected.
Hmm.
And then you're reacting to what the client thinks you need to be doing. So then you're just their employee at that point.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I think the diagnostic is just such an important tool. Not, I mean, obviously, yes, from the standpoint of you get a full scope of work, but how it positions you in that relationship, and then how you can be more confident in your pricing, and then in the long term relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Veronica, let's end here with a couple of things. I like to ask people, um, was there can you tell us of a time in your life where life kind of gave you a bad hand, and how you overcame that?
Yeah. So, as you probably know, scaling a business is very, very difficult. And so I went through that stage in my business where, first of all, I started 15 years ago all by myself, no team members. Then I had several part-time employees, and then decided, you know what, it's time for me to, grow up, expand the business, hire full-time employees, and plan on growing.
Yeah.
But you get to that point of, okay, well, do you find the clients first and then you find the people to work for you and do the work? Or do you find the people first to work for you and then you find the clients? And it was not okay for me to find clients and not have the team to do the work. So I found the team first. So now I'm paying full-time employees,
Right.
while we were scaling and documenting all of our workflow. So it was a good investment from the standpoint of,
Yeah.
I'm using all these people, and now they're taking everything that's up here. Now it's
Yeah.
creating all of my systems. But it got to a point that I couldn't pay myself. And that went on for about 2 years. And looking back, 2 years doesn't sound like a long time given all the great
Yeah.
things that have happened since, but it
Sure.
was a very difficult
Oh yeah.
time to go to the office, and here, comes this one employee and she bought a new car. And I'm not even getting paid. She's getting a new car.
Yeah.
Or this other person, oh, my wife bought blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, with the money that I'm not getting. So it really forced me to start looking at how do I monetize the intellectual capital that I have, because I have the systems, I have the knowledge, but I don't see how this is going to work long term if I'm always going to have this tug of war of clients or employees, and then I'm last. And so that's really what drove me to start 5MBA Academy of, okay, how do I monetize what I have in a way that now is helping the accounting industry, teaching them what I have learned in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah. That's awesome. And 2 years is a long time. Most of us, I think, with 1 month without pay, like I'm curious to see how many of us would be able to live with 1 month, 2 months, 3 months without pay. Not only were you going into work and not getting paid, but you're going into work and it's negative pay because you're not making anything. You're losing money by paying everybody else to do it. But I'm glad that it worked out. Obviously, it's worked out.
I
really
am,
well.
and I think when you and one of my quotes, I try to keep track of my quotes that I have. One of them is, the struggle is part of the journey.
Yes.
And so it was one of those pivotal moments. You have to decide, either I'm going to do something to get past this situation, because it wasn't going to last
Sure.
long term. I mean, I emotionally couldn't
It had to work.
continue. It had to work.
Yeah.
And so then to look at, how do we, how can you monetize what you already have? How can you help other people in a way that it's a win-win for everyone?
Yeah, yeah. So, Veronica, what's next for your brand?
Well, I have some exciting things coming towards the end of the year. I have to move first.
Yeah.
I think I told you I have a farm, and we've been working on our house, getting it ready for us to move. So it's going to be, I don't know, 3-4 months, I think, before we get to the point that we can move in. And so need to get through that move.
Yeah.
And then, but I guess to give you a little hint, so as part of the rebranding to Veronica Wasek, as I said, we're in this time of, I think, where we all need to look at changing and evolving. And for me, it was more about how can I help this industry transform, but not necessarily being the QuickBooks trainer
Sure.
or the cleanup queen, even though I feel like I'll always be clean cleanup queen, but really looking at our industry and like you said, there's fear, there's
Yeah.
we're lacking confidence. You would think in the 15 years that I had my firm that we would have. I mean, there's a lot of advances we've made as an industry, but I think fear and insecurity still
Yep.
linger,
Yeah.
and it's something that I have struggled with a lot, and I think I have a lot to say about it and helping others
Yeah.
to overcome.
I don't think that's going away. I think it's human nature. Anytime we try something new, it's scary, and it's going to bring all those insecurities.
And I think that it's about taking action despite the
Despite.
fear and insecurity to find
Yeah.
the what's going to push you through that situation.
Yeah. So what's in store this year? I know you and I are going to be at GrowCon on May 4th. Anywhere else that we can find you?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for some dates to be announced. I'm hoping to be at Reframe
Okay.
later this year. I attended Reframe last November, and it's a smaller conference, and really felt like I came away with a lot of good takeaways,
Sure.
things that I needed to do, and especially I think it was part of the rebrand, and then the new things that I want
Yeah.
to do. It played a part in that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about scaling new heights yet. I've been going for maybe 11, 12 years, but I don't know if I'll go this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because of moving and everything.
Sure. Sure.
I'll-
Okay. Well, I'll see you on May 4th at GrowCon, and I know that you have your socials. I'll get all of those from you and post all those in the description below. Is there anything else that you want to shout out? Any like you have your courses, your YouTube channel? We can connect with you on Facebook. Anywhere else that I'm missing?
No, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so now all of my branding is under my name, Veronica Wasek, so easy to find. And then my courses live in 5mbacademy.com.
Awesome. Veronica, thank you so much for taking the time to chatting with me. I know that this has been insightful, and I know that a lot of our students and other bookkeepers know who you are, but hopefully this interview or this conversation that we had has got them to understand who you are, where you came from, and see where you're going.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you.